All right, so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the different whitetail seasons, how to scout for them, and what you can expect throughout the different phases of fall here. Right now we're late summer, just coming into fall. Whitetail season hasn't opened up yet. The first season that's going to open is our archery season or our early season. If you're not out scouting right now, get out as soon as you can. A few things you can do right now to help your success in the field, and this will help for early season, mid-season to late season whitetail hunting. Generally, where I like to start is e-scouting. And what you want to look for in e-scouting, you can use a platform like either Google Earth, or one of my favorites is using the iHunter app to e-scout for all sorts of stuff. So generally when I'm looking for whitetail areas, they need three things: bedding area, a food source, and a water source. So if you find an area with all three of those, that's a good indicator that's going to be some whitetail in the area. Bedding areas are generally thicker timber, anything like willows, hazelbrush, tall grass, kind of like we're in right now. When we're looking for feeding areas, we're looking for meadows and oak ridges, which are both natural food sources. And you'll find a lot of deer in agriculture. So a lot of the grain fields, beans, peas, any of the grains, and alfalfa as well are all great food sources for whitetail deer. If you're able to get some permission on private land, those are all great forages or great food sources for whitetail. Typically, when I'm looking for areas while I'm e-scouting, also want to look for travel corridors that deer might be traveling through. So you can look for fingers of forest that leads out to a field. You can look for other natural corridors like creek bottoms or any sort of natural pathway through the environment. Another useful tool while scouting is the use of trail cameras. Now, they don't capture everything, but they do give you an idea what's in the area and some of the areas that they're using. So trail camera typically will pick up one main trail or a field edge, and you can gather a lot of information from those. The best tool you can do for scouting is actually get out in the field and having a look for yourself. So bring a pair of binoculars, bring a spotting scope if you're looking at a field edge, have a look around, see where those deer are coming out, where they're traveling during those feeding hours. Now, whitetail deer typically, especially in the early season and mid-season, will be most mobile in the mornings and the evenings. This is when they're going to be traveling to and from their food sources. During midday, they generally spend most of the day in their bedding area. Most of your efforts in the field, early season, mid-season, should be spent from legal shooting to about 2 hours past sunup, or vice versa in the evening. So get into your spot about 2 to 3 hours before sunset, and you want to sit there at least till legal light. In the early season, typically whitetails are quite predictable. So if you find one that is doing something night after night or morning after morning, you can bet that the next day they're going to be running a similar pattern. So you can make a plan off of that can help you harvest that deer. As we get into the mid-season whitetail, which is typically our muzzleloader season, we get to a pretty exciting phase in the fall, which you kind of enter the pre-rut. So near the end of October, deer will start ramping up, their hormones will start changing, and a lot of the bucks are going to kind of be getting excited. They're checking out who's around, what other deer are around, and they're getting ready for their mating season. So typically does aren't in estrus quite yet, but there's a lot of more pre-rut activity happening. So you will find a lot more movement from deer, and you can find some bucks moving during the day more often. Typically hunting those bedding areas, around the bedding areas during the day might yield you some success, but for the most part, again, hunting the mornings and the evenings you'll see the most amount of animals. During this pre-rut activity though, deer do become very responsive to calling, and there's going to be a short video here on some calling sequences coming out. So things like using a grunt tube, using a rattle bag or rattle antlers, and using a snort wheeze or even a doe bleat can be successful in the field as well. Moving on from mid-season stuff, we get on into our late season hunting, which is generally our rifle season. And that's going to bring us into the full rut activity, where whitetail deer are actively breeding. Does are in estrus, or they're in heat, as lots of people will say. Someone says, hey, there's a hot doe in the area, you're going to see a lot of movement and buck activity. Now, typically my favorite thing to do in this time of season is to hunt the midday. So I'll find a forested area alongside a food source, alongside a bedding area, alongside a watering hole, whatever it may be, a good travel corridor area where bucks are going to be moving through looking for hot does all day long. So typically a lot of deer are shot during this time period, in those midday hours, but don't sleep on the mornings and the evenings as well, because there's still going to be lots of activity during those times. As we get to the end of the rifle season, that's going to be our post-rut activity. A lot of deer are going to be run down, tired. The bucks haven't slept for like 2 weeks, so they're going to be looking for food sources. They might be able to find another hot doe, one last hurrah, but typically deer are moving towards food sources and bedding areas and not moving too much from there. Keep in mind when hunting that late season, that rut activity can differ from area to area. You can go from one spot and someone will say, hey, it doesn't look like the deer are rutting yet. And then you can go to a couple miles over and it looks like it's full on rut over there. So it does kind of come in waves in certain areas, and just keep at it through the fall and keep that in mind, and it'll lead you to success. If you're planning on heading out this fall, don't forget to get your hunter safety right now while you still have time. You can get it online through the Check the Manitoba Wildlife Federation website for details on that, or you can also book a class where you get hands-on instruction on safety and proper hunting tactics and etiquette.